Welcome to Dox TV. My name is Alan, your host, as always. This is episode number 2. On episode number 1, we were talking about, is Europe or United Kingdom to be in Europe? Is that to be or not to be? And that is the question. Sorry about the singing. And that is the question, right? What I was talking about is, we should have a vision of the UK outside of Europe, or a vision for the UK to be within Europe. And I think that video is just too much for just one episode. So I think it's very important for us to talk about where we are as a nation, because I'm speaking particularly to the United Kingdom. There may be some people that go, well, actually, do you know what? That runs true in my nation as well. And I want to give you some fact. I don't want to give you fiction. I want to give you fact. I want us to get right underneath the facade that says it's a really good thing where we are as a nation. It's a really positive thing, because I can assure you, when we look at the facts alone, it's not. So let's start here. So if we start with just talking about our nation, not in the past, as we stand at this point in time. So the UK, how is it? Well, here's the thing. More people are getting divorced in the UK than ever before. Children, we're a fatherless nation. And that's the killer. But as we continue down on that vein, how do things stand with us financially? So if we were to look at things, how does the UK stand up? So the UK at this point in time has a national debt on its head of roughly £1.43 trillion. Just so you know, that's a lot. We owe £1.43 trillion to a central banking fund. That means that every man, woman and child in this nation now has a debt on their head, if you break that down, of roughly about £25,000. So if you look at your children, they owe that money. If you look at yourself, you owe that money. If you look at your parents, your grandparents, we all owe that money. So what's the catch with that? So 1.3 trillion, if we were to look at that, that means that every single year the UK, that's your money, pay £55 billion just in interest. Just in interest. £55 billion just in interest alone. We have a budget of £800 billion per year. We have an income of £500 billion, which means that we're £300 billion short from where we should be. The NHS last year went £2 billion over budget. And this is an interesting point, because we're being told, you know what the problem with the NHS is? The NHS's biggest problem is that people are living longer, that people in this country are getting diseases earlier, and they're sicker, and basically we and that's a problem here. And it's just a lie. It's an absolute lie. The challenge that we've got is, right, so if we look at it, before the doors opened, before that, the wonderful Labour got into power with good old Gordon Brown and good old Tony Blair, Mr. Spin Doctor, they opened the borders. So if we were to look at it, that, and this is fact, not fiction, if we were to look at it, that the UK's population up to the turn of the century roughly was floating around about 58 million people. 58 million people. If we were then to look at where we are, so from their legacy, and certainly the legacy of where we are now, the UK has roughly about 65 to 66 million people. By 2020, their prediction is that the UK will have roughly, by 2020, will have 70 million people living here that they know about. So where does that come from? So it's come from baby booming, right? Everyone having more children. No, it's come from mass immigration. That's where it's come from. And don't for one second think, immigration's wrong. Look, I'm not talking about that. If people want to come here to work and they want to be a benefit to this country, as we've already spoken about, then I've got no problems with those people coming to this country, in my own personal opinion, and I don't think anyone else has. I mean, heck, my wife's German. Yeah, so I have, I'm certainly not against people coming to a nation to work and to be a credit to that nation. And I think that's a wonderful thing. But when you've got people that are just coming here to milk off the system, which would be apparent of what they're doing, you've got some serious problems. So the NHS went over budget by £2 billion last year. £960 million of that money was down to mismanagement, down to very challenged individuals running that firm or running the trust that haven't got a clue what they're doing. So when someone says, well, do you know what, you're the problem, Mr. Taxpayer, you're the problem. You're living too long. And not only are you living too long, but you're getting diseases, and we're managing those diseases. And that's why the NHS is in such a mess. And it's just such a lie. The truth with it is there's so many people coming into the country, they cannot handle it. They can't deal with it. So if we were to look at the state of the United Kingdom, just on that stance alone, we would look that if we were to go and see a bank manager and we said to Mr. Bank Manager, here's the thing, Mr. Bank Manager, I need to borrow some more money. And the reason why I need to do that is that I haven't got enough. Okay, no problem at all. Well, let's talk about you then. So what's your outgoings? What's your budget? Oh, well, 800 billion. Oh, 800 billion. Okay. Well, I can see already you're at 1.43 trillion. So 800 billion. Okay. That seems like a lot, right? Yeah. So what's your income then? 500 billion. Right. Okay. And you want to borrow some more money. I'm really sorry, Mr. Customer, but it would appear that you've got some serious problems. And we can't lend you that money because technically, you're insolvent. You can service your debt, you can pay back the interest, but look, the chances of you ever actually overpaying on that amount and actually paying and lowering that debt, that's unlikely. Really sorry. But look, hey, don't make the rules, because the truth matters. Stay tuned for some other awesome shows which we're going to be looking at. As I said, a vision for the UK coming out of Europe, and the UK staying in Europe. Thanks for joining me. Look forward to speaking to you soon. God bless you.